Okay, what's going on, guys? Back with another edition of NGP Manga World. What we're going to be talking about today is the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Um, I'm just gonna assume that everybody that's in here has watched it. So, spoiler alert, it's gonna be spoilers all over this thing, and I'm not really gonna go about this linear. So I'm just gonna kind of get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. So I'm just gonna be freeballing, and I'll try and keep this as short as possible. So here we go. Let's start with the things I like. Things I like. Probably my favorite part about the whole movie was probably the beginning. Um, Basically, like during the origin portion of the story, we get into when Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are all kids, and you kind of get to see Planet Vegeta and how it was at that time, and they have what's their names flying in Dodoria, Zarbon, the old squad. They didn't have. I don't think I saw the Ginyu Force, but whatever. Man, King Cole. Just the interaction. It was awesome. The animation was just phenomenal. It was great. Probably one of the best animated movies or TV shows that I'd seen in a long time. Like actually, maybe period. Definitely the best animated for Dragon Ball Z. So that's another thing that I love. Just the way the animations, the facial expressions, everything. I loved it. But basically, King Cole comes out. Him talking to Prince Vegeta. No, not Prince. King Vegeta. That was definitely really that whole interaction was definitely really cool, and how they had snipers. It's this weird thing going on in Dragon Ball Super where like guns are relevant and stuff like that. Just little things that just never would have worked in Dragon Ball Z. These things are like relevant now, but yeah, whatever. Uh, so that was kind of cool, and just the kind of the way just Frieza just kind of whipped his, just told them all who's boss and just shut their asses down and just kind of killed every one of King Vegeta's snipers and just took them out in a second and just basically said, look, yeah, I'm the boss around here and you guys better get your ass in line. But yeah, that was definitely cool, and just seeing all, and then just the diversity among the Saiyans, seeing how they all looked, seeing how they all behaved, and I like the tails, man. They need to bring the tails back. Me personally, for Vegeta and Goku, somehow they got to write that into the story because those tails are fucking dope as hell. But so moving on, so yeah, so and then just the world building was another one of my favorite parts. Just seeing that, like, well, basically what I said earlier, just seeing that planet, seeing how they're all interacting with each other, seeing like Gine, just the home life, the family and home life of Vegeta, like how rad that you can see how they were operating as a nuclear family. Raditz is out doing his thing, and it's you kind of see that family oriented. It's not just, oh, we're warriors and this and that. Like the Saiyans got a little bit more fleshed out, so that was definitely fire as fuck. So another thing that I loved about the movie was when Vegeta was fighting Broly. That was that shit was fire. Like that was definitely some nice stuff. Like Vegeta and Broly going at it. It was just it was definitely better than when Vegeta went at Broly the first movie. In the first movie, they just made Vegeta look pathetic, but in this one, like Vegeta held his own. He looked like he's showing off the powers of the Saiyans, and then you can kind of see Paragus like, oh damn, like this is what they've done. Like they've grown this much, and you can kind of see like just how they don't know as much about what it means, and just the levels, the potential of the Saiyan. They didn't realize it, and how they've achieved all this, and then basically kind of like they kind of treated Broly as like the newcomer, where like where they didn't overskill Broly to just jump past them. He had to like in through the fight he had to get to them. Although it was very Dragon Ball Super X the way he powered up, like just through the fight he just gets astronomically strong. But it's whatever, it's still whatever. It's still kind of cool that Vegeta and Goku are basically like the boss fight for Broly rather than be the other way around. But so yeah, and then just Vegeta, how he was handling Broly, and then the animations during his fight because it was really technical, and then him going Super Saiyan like God, the red hair guy, that was pretty sweet too. I like that. I like that when they was doing that, and yeah. But even better was when Goku came in. When he came in using Super Saiyan God and jumped into the fight, that was definitely sweet. I love that. That was definitely like that was definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie. I mean, not as much as I like the beginning part, but as far as like that was my part. Goku Super Saiyan God going against Broly was my favorite part of the whole fight. Like he was just, it was super technical. He's like, it looked like martial arts. He's just going with the flow. He's not fighting with brute force. He's just coming in. He's using Broly's momentum to against Broly. It was just cute. Like Goku was just moving like water, and it was sweet. That it was just, it was nice. That was definitely a really nice part of the movie. I'm not gonna talk about the contradictions because Super is just one big contradiction as a whole, and at this point, I think we've all learned to just come accept it. I mean, at the end of the day, the manga isn't even continuity with the anime, and both of them are just super non-continuity with Z. So Broly, clearly, I was not expecting Broly to be any different, and it definitely added up to some contradictions with Z. But whatever. We're gonna table that. But so we're gonna get into my biggest number one gripe with Super Broly, which is actually one of my number one gripes with Super. Period. At least in terms of its conclusions. So basically, once we get into that Broly versus Broly Goku Vegeta fight, it goes as usual. Like it progresses well. Like just typical super fashion. It progresses well. It starts well. They get you interested. They've built up everybody. Everybody's cool. Even the villain is cool. And although I should hesitate to say villain because these days Super's kind of doesn't even have a villain anymore. We'll see what happens with Moro, and we'll see what happens. And then I guess Zamusu is the only villain that I can think of. But yeah, so basically, but the antagonist, I should say, is interesting. So basically, it just drags. Super just drags. Their climax fights drags, and it was just like that in this movie. It dragged and it dragged and it dragged. Like it'd be like, okay, they're fighting. Vegeta goes at it. I mean, they're going at it for a good minute. And then here, let me break it down. So let's say the intro with the Planet Vegeta was probably about, I don't know, let's say 30 minutes. And then there was a time where Goku and Vegeta are sparring, and they're trying to figure things out with what's going on with Frieza, and then Broly gets introduced to the girl character. I forget her name, which also I forgot to mention. That's another thing that I liked about the movie was the characters that kind of stuck by those two. Well, mainly the female character that was like really sticking by Broly and wanting to help him out. Definitely one of my favorite characters in that movie. Liked her a lot. She was really cool. But yeah, so the portions from the Planet Vegeta to basically Goku, Broly, and them all meet him up was probably about 40 minutes in total, maybe 50. Then the rest of the movie, which I want to say was about maybe it was like an hour left. I'm not sure, but the rest of that it just was like just one big long fight. So basically, all the story kind of died down, and it got to a fight, and they just fought for what felt like years. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like I couldn't do it. I was like yeah, it was cool. Like a lot of the fight scenes were cool, like I said, but it's like they're fighting in their base form. They're fighting in their Super Saiyan form. Then they're fighting in Super Saiyan God form. Then they go Super Saiyan Blue. And I'm like, look, they need to stop this thing that they're doing with Super. Like, just cut to the chase. This is a tough fight. Jump straight to it. Like, it doesn't make sense. They're doing all these levels. I'm like, it's so boring. Like, I'm falling asleep. Like, dog. Like, it's like at first it's interesting, and maybe there'll be parts where they have just really good animation, but then there's parts where I'm just like, yo, like, can this conclude? Like, it doesn't. It's just I'm basically just watching a sparring match. Like, can you guys just cut to the chase and finish this up? I mean, when Gogeta came in, it was like a refreshing pace. Like, okay, fine, change the pace, great. They finally stopped it, but it's just they super loves to just go take a lifetime with their fights, and I'm getting really annoyed with it. Still though, they do a good job of setting everything up, like, and then they do a good job with the hype. Like they're doing pretty solid, like setting up all these fights. But it's like they need to figure out how to conclude the conclusion without jacking it off for like 20 hours. It's ridiculous. I mean, I guess Z kind of did it too when you think about the Frieza, but I mean, it's crazy. Like it gets annoying. They need to fix that. But other than that, like that was my main problem, and honestly, that's a big problem for me because it just kind of it knocks it down. It's like so much of more of that content I felt they could have used for story, but like I said, I mean, Super's basically giving up on stories at the end of the day. So I guess I got to give up on that pipe dream that I'm gonna get an interesting story from Dragon Ball Super at any point in time because it looks like they've decided, we're not doing plots anymore, just transformations, fights, and friendship. That's it. So I guess it is what it is. Accept it. I don't know. It's always good to get more Dragon Ball, so I ain't gonna complain. So I mean, that's my overall thoughts on the movie. So yeah, that's what I liked and that's what I didn't like. So I'll be back with you guys with another video hopefully soon. All right, peace.